Welcome to Massive Late Fee. And now your hosts, Mark and Carol. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Massive Late Fee. My name is Mark. With me as always is my girlfriend Carol. How you doing, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
It is October 29th, 1994. 2 days until Halloween. Big Halloween bash not in progress, in planning, I guess.
And it's also Mark's birthday today.
Oh, yeah. Getting old.
Everybody should stop by his locker and tell him happy birthday.
Right. Yeah, go ahead and do that. Yeah, we're going to have a big party for Halloween. It's going to be like that big party that you wanted to throw.
You mean the Beverly Hills 90210 party?
That one, yes.
Yeah, we're even going to rent an airplane to invite the whole school.
Except for the freshmen.
Right.
We're not gonna do that, but I mean, it's gonna be a big party like that. We won't have caterers, but
yeah, we won't have caterers. We won't have a hot tub. We won't have as much booze.
Pool's
I won't say
closed.
No booze, but
yeah, no booze, quote unquote, no booze.
Of course.
Anyway, so it's gonna be a good time if you are in our area and you know us. Not if you're strangers, obviously that's not on.
Please don't come to my house if you are strangers.
But anyway, so big news for strangers going to see a rock concert. Candlebox is at the State Theater. 3 nights all sold out.
Yay, Candlebox! Although I'm sad that they sold out so fast.
Oh yeah. Well, they're very popular. That Far Behind song is a big hit.
It's an awesome song.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like it. There's they've got some different songs out there, and that's sort of what this article's about. It's the writer of the article kind of goes into how they can cross genres. They get the alternative crowd, but then they're hard rock enough to get the headbanging crowd, and they just they album rock. They go for it all.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how they're just kind of all over the rock, and yeah.
So yeah, they kind of illustrate it by talking about how all the different radio banners are there and how that's an odd thing. Because usually when they sponsor concerts and things like that, it's one radio station like 89X or something like that sponsoring a concert. Every once in a while, two will get together, but Candlebox goes through so many genres that basically every radio station that even peripherally plays rock. That's how Scooby-Doo would say it.
There you go.
Like wow, Scoob. It's about Halloween time, so spooky. I don't know. What do they call themselves? The Mystery Machine Crew?
Something like that?
Yeah, let's say that. Speaking of Halloween time and scariness, the Insane Clown Posse is also, I guess, selling out some concerts or something like that. I don't know. Some of you may have heard of the Insane Clown Posse. Some of you may have not. I am aware that these tapes now go far beyond our school, far beyond the state of Michigan, and into parts unknown all over the world. I will explain what Insane Clown Posse is, or ICP for short. They're two dudes, Shaggy Two Dope, also known as Shaggy, and Violent J. His real name is Joseph Bruce. Never trust a guy with 2 first names. Just saying. They are a big old rap horror group. They dress up like clowns, like kind of scary-ish clowns, I suppose, and they sing rap songs. That's what they do. They're from here. They're from Detroit. They grew up together in Detroit. They have an apartment that they share by the Cass Corridor. Speaking of strangers coming there, I guess strangers show up outside their apartment in the Cass Corridor.
Oh, jeez.
Fans, yeah. So, I mean, like I said, that's not on, obviously. Don't do that. But they have, I don't listen to them, but they have 2 albums right now. One's called Carnival of Carnage, and then Ringmaster, and they're coming out with a 3rd album. They're getting some heat, apparently, at least enough to include an article here in the Detroit Free Press. And they're about to go out on tour. That's why they're writing about them, because they're about to go out on tour. Now, I've heard a couple of their songs. Their songs get some decent airplay on some of the stations, some of the radio stations around here. In no small part because they're from here.
Right.
And I'm not a huge fan. Good. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan, I gotta say, but I do know people who do love them. I'll tell you that much.
Right. But yeah, definitely not me either.
But if you're into, they sing a lot about like sort of horror type stuff and like I don't know exactly how to describe it. A lot of it's like violence and I don't know. It's weird. It's some weird rap from 2 white guys dressed as clowns. So I mean, I don't know how it could be bad, but
not our cup of tea. But whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, but that's it for the news today. That's all I got for the news. You got anything? Anything happen in your life that you want to report to the people?
I already said, we're having a party and it's your birthday. That's what's happening in my life.
Having a party.
It's a busy week.
Absolutely. Are you like me?
What do you mean?
Well, we've moved on now to Massive Love, our Lonely Hearts section here. So
thanks for the heads up.
We are moving into, what's it called? From the Heart, I believe it's what's called in the Detroit Free Press. So the first one says, "Are you like me?" ? Bored, frustrated, leery, involved, white male, 40s, clean, trustworthy, slender, cute, sensual, discreet, non-smoker, needs you.
Wow.
Yeah. Leery. It's so weird.
That's a very strange adjective to throw in your personal ad.
Yeah. Almost like a joke.
I don't know. It makes me not want to, if I were looking, I would not want to call him.
I am now leery of you.
Well, many things make me not want to call him, including you.
Yeah. No, I meant like reading this. I'm now leery of this guy.
Oh, okay.
Then the next one down. So I would like to point out, we've got a couple from the alternative section, but I'm telling you, when we first started doing this, I think it was sort of a novelty or funny or whatever. It was like, just clean and discreet, bisexual, bi-curious, all that stuff.
Right.
And it's like now it's old hats to us. So yeah, this is from the male seeking female section. The next one down says, a single handsome polo-looking, but not playing, young gentleman seeks attractive, petite, young female for good times. Good times is capitalized, the G and the T. So I'm for Good Times, the TV show, I guess. He wants to watch Good Times.
Good Times.
He wants to sit around in his polo attire and watch Good Times, and he wants someone to watch it with him.
And he wants you.
Right. Hanging on a jar, good times. Ain't we glad that we got 'em? Good times.
Have you been celebrating early, honey?
Yeah, maybe. How about firefighter, 25 years old? That's got to pique your interest already, right?
Sure.
Looking for female 20 to 30 years that's fun and likes dangerous things to do.
Oh, jeez.
So this dude's a firefighter.
He's an adrenaline
25,
junkie.
and he's looking for someone in that age range who likes dangerous things to do.
Don't call him, ladies. He'll choke you out.
That is... Well, some women like that, I hear.
But it's dangerous.
It is dangerous. But what do you think he means? Do you think he means like skydiving? Do you think he means bungee jumping? Do you think he means murder?
Well, I think he probably means more stuff like bungee jumping and skydiving because he's probably an adrenaline junkie, which is why he's a firefighter.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess. Now we are in the alternative section,
Okay.
just so you know.
Thank you for keeping me abreast.
Yeah, I have to make sure you know everything that's going on with this show. Honest, adventurous, and what is wrong with me today? Honest, adventurous, passionate, married white male, 45, seeks attractive, sensuous, passionate, Taurus or Virgo.
Oh my goodness.
Interested? Question mark? Call me. What I love is that he starts his ad where he's looking for someone to cheat with the word honest.
Right?
Are you going to tell your wife about that, sir? That she would put this ad in the paper? Because that, to me, is not honest.
Well, that, and, he has picked two astrological signs.
Yeah, you know more about this than I do. Taurus and Virgo, are they... I assume that means he's something that would be compatible with those two.
I mean, I guess I would assume that, but it seems dumb to me to rule out, like, that many people.
Well, I mean, if the stars tell him that he's not going to get along with them.
Right, I guess.
You're the one that
Definitely
believes
rules
in
me
this
out.
shit. I don't.
I believe in it, but not to that extent. I mean, if I really believed in it, I wouldn't be dating you.
Because I'm a Scorpio.
Exactly. You weirdo. Why do you talk like that?
Why do I talk like what?
Scorpio.
That's how you say it.
Scorpio.
Uh-huh. That's what I said.
Moving on.
So here's the last one I've got. Very lonely.
Aww.
Overweight, married by white male, 28. Seeks female and adult couple for adult fun. Age, race, and looks unimportant.
Wow.
Discretion is.
Wow.
So he is a very lonely, overweight, married. So I guess...
Yeah, something's very wrong there if you're married and you're very lonely.
He's a bi white male. And he's looking for female and adult couple.
And or? Cause
No, it says
weird.
and.
So he wants to do group sex.
He's looking for a female and an adult couple for adult fun. Yes. He wants to find a woman and then a couple and then him. So he wants to swing, I guess. He's looking for a partner to swing with and the couple. He's doing a two birds with one stone situation here. He's getting the partner, because his wife apparently won't do it, and then he's also getting the other couple.
So weird.
But age, race, and looks are unimportant to him.
So basically, he's just desperate.
Discretion is, well, he's very lonely. So yeah,
he's like a giant neon sign. Lonely cheater.
You said giant and he's overweight. That's sad.
Oops.
Anyway, so that is massive love for this week. We will move on now to my so-called life.
Okay.
Carol, why don't you take us through my so-called life?
So my so-called life this week was a Halloween episode.
It was.
And it was with her parents going to rent costumes on Halloween.
Yeah.
Which seems a little late in the game.
Well, she forgot that they were supposed to go to her friend's Halloween party.
Right. And, they're giving the lady the hardest time, too. It's like, it's Halloween. But she assures them that, the costumes she's picking for them are the perfect costumes. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, she does say that almost as if she has mystic powers.
Right?
She's picked Rapunzel and a pirate.
Rapunzel and a pirate. They don't go together.
They do not go together at all.
So they're getting ready for a party, passing out candy. And Angela and her friends decide to celebrate Halloween in a very strange way by going back to school at night.
Yeah, why?
To hold a seance because there's a dead.
But why?
Can you let me talk?
Sure, go ahead. You're skipping scads of things that have happened in the episode, but go ahead.
Because there's a dead boy.
How do they know that?
Because it's like the rumor from around school.
So you just don't remember them?
I don't remember.
Okay, so what happened is first of all, in the morning, Angela contemplates, should I wear a costume? Should I not wear a costume? I want to wear a costume, but I don't want to wear a costume. She very sort of, not bubble-headed, but I don't know. She's mercurial, I suppose. That's a good adjective for her. So she goes to school without a costume on.
Bad choice.
She's in English class where, a bunch of people are wearing costumes. Crackhead isn't, but most everyone else is, including the teacher. And she's like, oh, I should have worn a costume. Now, Jordan's not there. And the teacher, for some reason, asks all the students, hey, who knows Jordan Catalano?
Right, like I said when we were watching it, like, why not, frickin' call his house, talk to his parents? Like, that seems a more appropriate venue.
So she says to Angela, do you know him, Jordan? Like, almost accusatory.
Right.
Yeah, I know him a little bit. Well, tell him he better show up or I'm expelling him. She's entrusting that message to this girl that says she barely knows him.
Yep.
Instead of doing anything herself.
So weird. And since when did teachers have the power to expel people?
Well, I think she's just going to go to the principal and say, hey, he's not showing up to class. Kick him out. But anyway, so Angela's got her new book, and they're looking at who had the book before her. And Nikki Driscoll is one of the people that had the book before her.
Right.
That's the dude that supposedly died on Halloween in the school. Which is why they're doing the seance.
Okay. But you're saying, how do they know that? I don't know. Like I said, it's a rumor around school that there's this kid that died and that's his name.
Yeah, but the episode very clearly showed how they came to talk about it.
How they came to talk about it, but not how they came into the knowledge of it.
Right, you didn't skip anything. Okay, we're fine.
I'm not saying I didn't skip anything. Obviously, I skipped things. I might have circled back to them. Do we have to do everything linearly?
It helps if you're explaining an episode.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we can do things out of order. I don't care. Crackhead, was seriously macking on what's her name, Renee.
Renee.
What's her name?
Now I can't think of her name, but it's not Renee.
It's not Renee?
I think Renee's her mom's name, Rayanne.
Rayanne. Yeah, that's right. Rayanne. Yeah.
Okay, so that's way skipping ahead.
Oh, and I can't do it, though. You can do it. I can't do it. I got you. Okay. But no, around the same time, he's staring at her legs as she is shaving her legs in the woman's bathroom. Is that something that women do at school?
No, I have never seen a girl shave her legs in the bathroom, and I certainly have not done that. That's weird. But, Rayanne is weird. So.
But yeah, so he was staring at her legs.
Yeah, he's standing outside the girl's bathroom, staring in, which is weird.
He's always weird.
He is always weird.
He is the most whiny person on television, I think.
But Rayanne is shaving her legs. She is dressed as a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
And she brought a costume for Angela. She must have just known that Angela wouldn't wear one.
Apparently.
And what she brought was her aunt's old clothes.
Her mom.
No, I thought she said her aunt.
I thought it was her mom.
Pretty sure it was her aunt.
Okay, we'll say it was her aunt then.
It's her aunt's old... Yeah, because she was talking about her aunt... Something about Nikki Driscoll.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that her mom rode on the back of Nikki Driscoll's motorcycles at some point.
Anyway.
But maybe she said her aunt, I don't know.
So, Angela is dressed like that time period, like the 50s or 60s. What would you just say, the 50s?
It was 1963.
63.
Which they mention in the thing. right before Kennedy got assassinated. So the early 60s. So she's got those, what do they call it? Like they're cat's eye glasses or something. You guys know what I'm talking about when I say that, right? They're those like thin sort of ovate glasses.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you expect them to answer you? It's kind of like when you talk to the dog.
Yeah, I expect them to answer me. They're shouting at their tapes right now.
I know what they look like, but that doesn't really help.
You know what our listeners look like?
No, the cat's eye glasses.
Oh, yeah. Well, you saw the episode.
True. So, yeah, so Angela's walking around wearing this, and then she starts seeing Nikki Driscoll.
Right.
But what's weird is she sees him, like, superimposed over Jordan Catalano.
Yeah, so now I have many questions about this episode.
Yeah.
You seem to be of the opinion that she's experiencing some sort of haunting.
Yeah, I always thought that she was. Like, it seems that way to me.
Okay. Now, I thought that she's just kind of imagining it or whatever, just daydreaming, basically. But if it is a haunting thing, then I'm guessing that the show is trying to say that, like, Nikki Driscoll is, the spirit of him is with Jordan for some reason? I don't know.
I don't know about that.
See, I'm thinking that she was just thinking about Nikki Driscoll in terms of Jordan Catalano. That she was equating the two. But
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty obvious, especially as the episode goes on, that is what she's doing. But just because she's doing that doesn't mean it's not paranormal.
okay.
I still think it could be actual haunting.
This is like this is the realest show on television. It is so grounded in reality. It's kind of shocking to me to think that they would go there, but I mean, you could be right. The show doesn't explain. It's definitely it's definitely left up to you.
Right.
So, but go ahead. Yeah, go ahead with the plot.
So she's, like I said, she's seeing Nikki Driscoll everywhere, and that's kind of what gets them started talking about it too, or maybe it was after the library book?
It was after the book, yeah.
Okay. So they all decide they're going to do this seance to try to, talk to his spirit or whatever. And Brian hears them talking about when and where they're going to meet.
Yeah.
And he seems like really obvious that he wants them to invite him.
He's a creeper.
He is a creeper. But isn't that weird? Like, what? I mean, is it just because he likes Angela? Like, what? Or Rayanne? Or what?
Yeah, first of all, Brian would pull his penis out for any woman in that school. Because there are times that he looks at Angela's old friend, like with leering eyes. He looks at Angela like that. He looks at Rayanne like that. The dude is just hard up.
This is true.
But he also kind of likes Ricky. Like, Ricky and him have some sort of odd friendship.
Yeah.
It's weird, but they do seem to like each other. There was that episode a little while back where they had that walk and they talked to each other, and then Brian gave Ricky his clothes.
Yep.
To wear as a Halloween costume.
Because Ricky wanted to go as everybody else.
Yeah, so he basically dressed up like Crackhead. And
who does not look like everybody else.
No, not really. But yeah, it's funny because it's weird because Ricky's wearing like a football jersey and a pair of khaki pants or something like that. And Crackhead is always dressed like a young Republican, where like the khaki is I suppose on brand for him, but then he's usually in a full button-up shirt tucked in with. It's weird. I can't even imagine him owning a football jersey, but apparently he does.
I feel like I've seen him in it before, though.
Yeah, maybe.
But, also, he told him he could keep the clothes longer if he needed to, so maybe they're not clothes he wears often.
Yeah, maybe. But anyway, it is clear that he kind of wants to. He likes this group of people.
Right.
He just doesn't know how to be with them.
Because he's weird and socially awkward.
Correct.
So, Angela tells her mom that she's staying the night at Rand's.
Yeah.
Which it's a school night. It's very weird to me that her mom agreed to this. I mean, I know it's Halloween, but still.
Her mom does seem to be loosening up.
Yeah, I guess so. And Angela's little sister decides to...
Danielle, is that her name?
Yeah, decides to dress as Angela for Halloween.
Which is, it's hilarious.
Yeah. Because she's, like, imitating her the whole time, too. And she does a really good job.
Yep, she does.
And so Angela leaves to go hang out with Rayanne. And the sister leaves with Sharon to go trick-or-treating.
Oh, yeah, that's the friend's name.
I don't really remember how that came to be. But
well, the friend was going Danielle was going trick-or-treating, and Sharon said she was going out with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
But then she was like, hey, wait up. And she went with the little girl instead. So I'm thinking there's something going on with her and her boyfriend.
Yeah, something. And, I mean, that maybe she just misses being a kid.
Yeah, maybe she wanted to hang out with quote-unquote Angela.
Right.
But she does mention, and this is an interesting perspective, because Danielle says, oh, I hate Angela or whatever. I'm so sick of her, all this stuff. And Sharon points out, well, you dress like her is, for Halloween. Like, it's clear that she does want to be close to her, but they're not close.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of sad.
The other plot point, I guess, that we forgot, the last thread, is that the mom has hired a new employee named Boyd.
Oh, yeah.
Who is always late. He's going to the chiropractor and shit, so...
Yeah, he sounds really irresponsible.
Yeah, and he's entrusting himself to chiropractors, so also an idiot.
Right. So, yeah, it kind of comes up that maybe she wants the dad to fire Boyd for her.
Yeah, and he wants her to want that.
Which is weird. I mean, I guess he wants to feel needed because he's not working right now, maybe, but...
Yeah, it could be.
But
I thought he wanted to be a cook or something like that. Why isn't he doing that?
Right? I don't know what is going on with him.
It just seems like he's sitting around doing nothing.
Well, yeah, he's in his robe all the time that he's not in his costume in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, they start, like, making out when the house is empty. And
yeah, they can't keep their hands off.
It's kind of gross.
They start it starts when they start dressing up.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, oh, this looks good, kind of, stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they were being kind of flirty, but yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, insane how they, go, get all, he rips her dress.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Skeevy. Then we have the school stuff happen. Tino is supposed to be there to do the seance.
Mm-hmm.
What is up with Rayanne and Tino?
I don't know who Tino is. They mention him. I don't know if I've ever seen him.
Right.
I know that he's one of Catalano's friends, too.
Yeah, it's like somebody's always waiting around for Tino. It's either Catalano or Rayanne.
Tino's just the guy that never shows up.
I mean, I know he must be the one with the car. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
I have a feeling that...
Catalano's got a car.
Oh, that's true.
Red.
Right? But yeah, so they decide to break into the school. Like freaking morons.
Well, Crackhead shows up.
Oh, yeah, and Crackhead shows up uninvited.
And he knows how to break into the school.
Mm-hmm. So he is holding the door. How did they get into the school?
He kicked, he knew where a window was open or something like that.
That seems weird. It seemed like it was more specific information, but okay. So he gets them in, and he's holding the door open, and Rayanne puts her foot up on the railing of the stairs,
Mm-hmm.
and to adjust her tights, he drops the door because he's staring at her.
Right. Yep, he does do that.
So, yeah. So they get trapped in the school. It's lucky it was a school night, or they could have been trapped in there all weekend.
That is true. That was a danger.
So, I mean, that was a relief in the morning to figure out, but...
Crackhead tries to, I don't know, override the security computer.
Right.
Which looks like a giant Star Trek. The entire wall is taken up by a computer.
Yeah, it looks like the computer in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, it's weird. But there's all these lights on it and everything. He touches some of them, and then all the lights go out.
Yeah, way to go, crackhead.
Right.
So, Angela, for some reason, is wandering around the school by herself.
She's looking for Nicky Driscoll, who she thinks she saw.
It's so weird. But she finds him.
She finds him in... Well, she sees the girl that looks like her, so either Rayanne's mom or her aunt, I guess, and one of her friends and they're talking about what a fucking loser Nicky Driscoll is.
So, yeah, she sees them walking into the dance and follows them. Mm-hmm. And it's all decorated. There's that one song. Oh, everybody was humming this one song throughout the episode.
Oh, Blue Moon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's playing in the background of this.
Blue Moon.
So then she sees, like, one of the girls is holding a flower.
A rose.
That Nikki gave her. And she's going to throw it away. And she says he probably just stole it from a graveyard.
Yeah.
And they're talking about, like, what a loser he is, which I guess reminds Angela of Jordan.
Because Jordan is a loser.
And she picks up the flower that the girl throws away. And then she runs into Nikki in the hall.
Correct.
Holding the rose.
Yep.
So he knows that girl threw his rose away.
Correct.
And he gets all upset and he's like, okay, I'm going to go with my friend. And this is how he died. Because he died on Halloween.
He died in, I guess, yeah, it was in preparation for this Halloween party. He went up to the rafters and then he fell. And someone says that a girl's left her stiletto heel on the floor for some reason and stabbed him through the nose or whatever. I mean, I'm guessing that if a kid fell from the rafters, he could easily die.
Yeah, that's high up, I mean.
So I'm guessing he just fell and died.
Yeah, who knows? But he's about to go do the thing that gets him killed. And she's trying to stop him. It's like, hello, Angela, you did not time travel. I don't know what
Nikki.
she's thinking. Right. She's like, no, don't do it. I don't know.
Well, you don't know what she's thinking. I don't understand this part in any way. Because what would you be thinking? She's really having this big of a ghost experience?
I don't know. It could be.
It seems so weird for this show.
I mean, if she's imagining it, then why is she imagining trying to stop him and everything?
I don't know. I mean, I could see her imagining any manner of things. What happens at the end of the episode seems to indicate that you're correct, though.
True. So we'll get to that later. Who else is in the school? There's Rayanne and Brian and Angela.
That's it, basically.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, so the whole time they're in the security room.
Ricky's outside.
Oh yeah, Ricky. Yeah, and Ricky runs into Jordan and all his buddies.
Right.
And I think Tino's there.
Yes, Tino's doing something with a car. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like he just came late and they missed him. But they're like tearing up the track. Apparently they do it every year.
Yeah.
It's like tradition, which is really dumb.
And Jordan, 25-year-old Jordan Catalano, still in high school, is showing his age and showing that he's done with this shit. Because he's like, yeah, they do it every year, whatever. He's like, it gets boring, it's dumb. He's like, but you come anyway because, hey, what if something did happen?
Right.
And then you'd want to be there. It's like, that's the gambler's fallacy. It's like, oh, if I just stay one more time, I could hit it big.
Yeah, he definitely seems kind of done with everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't blame him. That's a joke, obviously, 25. But I think he's supposed to be like 20 or something like that, or close, because I think he did fail high school a couple times.
It's possible. And, they're going to expel. Maybe that's why the teacher thinks it'd be that easy to expel him.
Or maybe he's not a senior yet still, and he's 18 or something like that.
Yeah.
But he's older. He's older than everyone else.
For sure.
And he looks older than everyone else.
So that's what's going on there. And, he tells Ricky basically to, hide and get out of there because he thinks his buddies are already pretty ripped. That's what he said.
Right.
So he thinks they might, beat him up or something.
Right.
which sucks. Like, especially if Jordan feels like he's friends with him, he should be able to say, "Hey, no, he's cool. Leave him alone."
Yeah, but he's different, so he has to be beaten up. That's how things are.
That's not cool.
He's bisexual. He's bi-curious. Even though he's clean and discreet, he needs to be beaten up.
It's sad.
It is sad, but that's the way things are.
So then Rayanne and Brian get snuggly.
Yes, they do. They fall asleep together.
Yep. Yep, they're flirting all night. They fall asleep together. Definitely a thing going on. But they don't kiss or anything.
No, Crackhead's way too much of a pussy to do anything like that.
But Rayanne is an experienced woman, so I think he should have tried it.
He should have, but he didn't do anything.
Right. So in the morning, Angela is passed out on the floor. It's kind of bizarre.
In Nikki Driscoll's blood.
No, ew. Did she still have the flower then when she woke up?
No.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it was in her book.
Yeah. She has it pressed in a book.
Yeah, so who knows where that came from. Now, I guess the other... Well, no, because it's at the beginning, right? It's at the front of the book.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I was going to say, if it was in the back of the book, then it also could have been just like, oh, look, this flower was in here the whole time, too.
Right.
And that goes along with what I was imagining or whatever. But, yeah, considering that it's in the front and they already looked at the front, then, yeah. I guess it's supposed to indicate that ghosts were there and ghosts can leave flowers behind. Somehow, out of the ghost world, they can... It's like Freddy Krueger, where you can take his hat and shit.
Well, and they're like in and out of the ghost thing. Like, she actually walked into the locked door of the gym, but she had been in the gym. So it's kind of weird.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So, I mean, it would made more sense that she was imagining it if the gym was unlocked to me.
Okay. Well, like I said, it's surprising for a show that's grounded in reality.
Yeah, but, it's Halloween. They want to do something a little different, a little more daring.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did. And it was another episode. This is not my favorite episode,
No,
though.
me either, honestly. It's kind of confusing watching it.
And there's... I don't know. It's just... It doesn't, doesn't really fit much with the story of the show.
Right.
And there's some ideas here and there. She wants to get through to Jordan. She feels like, hey, how can I ever be his girlfriend? I can't even get through to him and whatever. And then eventually she does get through to him.
Yeah, she has a big talk with him in the morning before class about not skipping or whatever, and he ends up going to class so he doesn't get kicked out.
Yeah, she's basically like, why do you want them to tell you what you are? I don't know.
Yeah. It was a decent little speech.
I guess. It's just, this whole episode I was not super into it.
Yeah, it's not my favorite either, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, that's basically it. So we'll have to see what happens next time on My So-Called Life.
And so for the movie, we watched Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Yeah, speaking of Freddy Krueger.
So what did you think of the movie?
Well, okay, so I have some problems with some of the things in the movie.
I have lots of problems with lots of the things.
So you've got a list. Okay.
I do.
I liked it for the most part. If for nothing else, it does something different. They mention it in the movie. There's been 5 Nightmare on Elm Street films. This is the 6th, I believe. The 6th one. I think that's what it is. I can't remember if they say 5 sequels, in addition to the original film, which would make this the 7th, or if there were 5 and then this is the 6th. Actually, I think this might be the 7th.
I think that it's the 7th. I'm not really sure either. I'm not great with the details.
But anyway, so either way, we're way into this movie, this franchise at this point.
Right.
And I like that they did something different. And it takes a while for Freddy to actually show up in a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, which is also something that's cool. It works as an homage to the first movie while at the same time taking us in a kind of interesting new direction. Now, could it have been done better? Are there things that I would change? Absolutely, but I like the idea, I guess.
Okay, I'll give you that. The idea is good.
But yeah, so I'll go through the plot real quick of this, and then we can talk about what we hated and what we liked.
Okay.
But the basic premise of this is it stars Heather Langenkamp as Heather Langenkamp, and she has
She played Nancy.
yeah, she was Nancy in the original film. She's starring as herself as the actress that was Nancy in the original Nightmare on Elm Street. She has a husband who I guess is her husband is a makeup artist in real life, and she has a son in real life, and she's got a son here, and her husband is a special effects guy. So it's similar. The beginning of the movie, he's working on a new claw for Freddy Krueger because they're doing a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and it comes to life, kills two of his crew, and then goes to try to kill him, cuts his finger and everything, and we realize it's a dream. Nancy wakes up, Heather wakes up, and they're having an earthquake. There's been a lot of earthquakes. Also, not ever really explained if that's connected to the evil that's going on or not. They talk about how odd it is that there's all these earthquakes.
Right.
And it seems weird timing, but they never really fully merge those two ideas.
Well, if you recall, there's a certain point in the movie when she's experiencing earthquakes and nobody else is.
Yeah, but it's clear that there are earthquakes actually happening in reality as well.
I suppose.
What do you mean you suppose? It's on the news.
I mean, yeah, they are, but I mean, there's so much blending in the movie of reality and dream and fantasy. It's hard to keep track, truly, of what's actually happening.
That's true. But her husband goes off to do a job, and she's left alone. She's got an interview that she's going to do. She does the interview, and Robert Englund shows up dressed as Freddy Krueger. She's kind of a little freaked out about it. She's been getting calls. This is another thing that's sort of based in reality. So, Heather Langenkamp was on a show called Just the 10 of Us, which was a spin-off of Growing Pains. And that show got canceled about 4 years ago or so. And I guess when the show got canceled, she started getting threatening letters from an obsessed fan. It was in the papers, and I guess everything sort of petered out. The police were on the case, and everything turned out fine. But Wes Craven, I guess, based this partially on that, because she's getting phone calls from somebody basically saying, 1-2 Freddy's coming for you, all that stuff. And her son is sleepwalking and acting all weird and talking in the Freddy voice. That's another weird thing, too.
Yeah, that's not totally explained either.
They seem to intimate that Freddy is using the boy to kind of come into our world, sort of like in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, but that never really happens.
Right.
So it's one of those, it's like they went halfway with an idea. It's weird.
It's a very weird movie.
But anyway, so they use it to reunite a lot of the old people. John Saxton, Wes Craven has a role in it as well, Robert Englund, and they all, Johnny Depp and that girl that played Tina aren't back, but they all talk to each other at various points in the movie. Wes Craven just sits down and explains the entire premise of the movie at one point.
Right.
But she calls her husband, says, "Hey, I've got another call. I'm freaked out. Please come home." He goes to drive home. He starts falling asleep. Freddy comes, and this dude, he said it's a 3-hour drive.
Right.
What the fuck? Did you eat a bunch of turkey and drink some wine before you started driving? He is so fucking tired.
Well, maybe he put in a full day of work, and he had to drive 3 hours to get there. So, that's a lot. That's a lot.
I guess. But he's falling asleep, and Freddy comes, slashes him, he gets in a car accident, he dies. Nancy wakes up. It's another dream. Oh, there's a lot of dream fake outs.
Yeah, it's annoying.
In this movie. But fake out turns out to be real out.
So was it prophetic?
I guess. Because there are cops at the door. Are you Heather Langenkamp? Is your husband this pile of meat? Well, he's dead.
My God.
So she goes to the morgue, and there are slash marks on his chest. And the people are like, oh, well, they said it was a really bad car accident. Just a really horrible car accident that left 4 equally distributed marks across his entire body. Makes sense.
Right, just like the 4 equally distributed slash marks in her walls from the earthquake.
Yeah, there's a lot of that stuff. So, he dies. They go to the funeral. The boy is obviously sad. She falls, hits her head.
She falls because there's an earthquake.
Yeah, but was there really? I don't think so.
Oh, good question.
I think she was she stood up and then fell or whatever. I don't know. But because they were wheeling her husband down into the grave. And her and the boy fall in there, and it's like he's falling into the thing. There's also a thing where he's got a stuffed animal that he puts at the end of his bed, and it protects him from Freddy, and it gets claw marks in it. But it's intimated that this dinosaur comes to life,
right,
and fights off Freddy in the dream world. I guess that's kind of one of those Dream Warrior ideas where it's like, there's a lot, like, basically every idea that's ever been in a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, even though Wes Craven only did the first one, and this one, is thrown into this movie. It's like all these ideas that everyone else put into my thing, I'm going to put in here, too. Yeah. It's weird. But, so, I'm trying to think where we go from here. So, yeah, the husband dies. She talks to her son about everything. She hears that Wes Craven's writing a new script. The producer says, Wes told me that he hasn't done a horror movie in 10 years. He hasn't called me in 10 years because he hasn't had any really good nightmares. And Nancy's like, so he's having the nightmares again. Like, it's so weird. Like, she's already acting like it's a supernatural thing.
Right.
Well, we're not really at that point in the movie yet. So are we just saying that Wes Craven wrote A Nightmare on Elm Street because Freddy's real? I don't know.
I think that was kind of what was established in the movie.
It's so weird. But she goes to Wes Craven's house. And because Robert Englund leaves from the movie. He exits the movie with an answering machine message, which basically just says, hey, I'm not in the movie anymore. See you later, guys. He sounds really sad about it. But he says that he's going out of town. The Englands are going out of town. You could try to reach us, but we'll be gone for a very long time.
Right? It was so weird.
So she goes to Wes Craven's house, and Wes Craven is like, yeah, I have a nightmare every night, which is a scene from this movie, and then I write it, and I want you to be in it because, look, Nancy, there's an evil entity that exists in the world, and it gets trapped. The only way to trap it is to trap it in stories. And, sometimes it's Hansel and Gretel, sometimes it's Nightmare on Elm Street, and now that we killed Freddy in the last movie, this entity is free to roam about again. It's not trapped anymore. Because no one's made a fucking horror movie since they killed Freddy, apparently.
Yeah, it seems almost a little egotistical.
Uh-huh. So he says, so I'm writing this so that we can trap Freddy again in the story. And that's why you gotta be Nancy. And she says, okay, whatever. Her kid is going nuts. They think he has schizophrenia.
Yeah, they think he has pediatric onset schizophrenia. Or they also say it's, sleep deprivation.
Right. Which seems much more likely.
Right?
So she takes him to the hospital because he's like foaming from the mouth and everything.
Oh, yeah, that was weird.
She tells him several times, hey, don't worry, Because if you ever need to get home, it's right across that freeway.
Yeah, why would she do that? Like, as soon as she did that, I was like, no.
So he escapes after his babysitter comes there and gets murdered in the identical way that Tina did in the first movie, which is one of the illusions in this movie. It's probably the biggest one, is that Tina gets Julie, I think her name is, gets dragged up the wall and across the ceiling, just like Tina did in the original Nightmare on Elm Street. And he
Which people
it.
see, not just him. Other people see it too.
Yeah, her floating in midair.
Right.
And then getting dragged up the wall. Yeah.
So what are they going to do with that?
Nurses see it. And they leave the little boy there alone.
Yeah, as bitches. You don't leave a little boy?
So he gets out of there. He's like, okay, well, I'm out.
Smart kid.
And he's going to cross the freeway. So he tries to cross the freeway.
He's sleepwalking.
Nancy gets, she goes to follow him too. There's a ton of car accidents. Yeah, go ahead.
No, because they drugged him. Remember, he was actually, they were trying to put him to sleep.
Yeah, they gave him sleeping drugs.
So he was sleepwalking.
And so there's a ton of car accidents. Freddy's giant hand appears.
Yeah, this is when the movie started to really lose me.
In the real world, somehow, even though he's not fully in the real world yet, but I guess because the kid's sleeping, I don't know what the hell's going on. But so the dream world can manipulate things in the real world. It's all very weird.
Very weird.
But he holds him up with one of his clawy fingers and above the traffic.
In the middle of the freeway.
People are seeing this too. They've got to be.
Right?
So she causes, like I said, just a ton of people to die, I'm sure.
She got hit by a car too.
Yeah, she got hit by a car on the freeway, rolled up on the windshield, then off the car. And of course, she's fine.
Oh, of
course.
Because,
getting hit by a car going 60 miles an hour, there's
no
nothing
big
to worry
deal.
about. You just walk that shit off.
Of course.
So she chases after him. She gets there. She had called John Saxton, the great John Saxton, on the way or before she left or whatever. He's there, and she comes in and she's like, "Oh, where's Dylan?" She's like, "He's there. Don't worry. Let's talk. What's going on?" And she goes, "It's Freddy. Freddy's after him. Freddy Krueger." And he goes, "Oh yeah, sure," or whatever, just like he does in the original movie. It's another homage to the original movie. And she says, "Look," he says, "Look, Nancy." And she's like, Why are you calling me Nancy, John?" And he goes, "Why are you calling me John?" So he's his character at this point, I guess.
Yeah, that took me a minute to get.
So he gets into a car, which is now a police car because he was a cop in the movie. He's still a cop somehow. Says, "Don't go insane like your mom. Take care of the kid. Bye." And then he leaves. And then she goes into the house, and just to hit everyone over the head, that scene where she calls John Saxton as her dad in Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, is playing on the TV. And he says the same line where he's like, "Oh, yeah, sure, Freddy Krueger, right?" Yeah. Freddy Krueger's dead. And so, anyway, Dylan is falling asleep, and he leaves all the sleeping pills like a trail of breadcrumbs, because they read Hansel and Gretel earlier, so they're connecting the two.
Right.
And says, "Hey, follow these." That's basically what he's saying subconsciously. Eat these. And she eats so many sleeping pills.
Yeah, it's like, are you trying to commit suicide? What is happening?
I mean, I know they're for kids, and I don't know why they gave him so many sleeping pills for being there overnight, but there's 10 sleeping pills that she just gobbles up. And so she does fall asleep, obviously. She goes into a coma, and she goes into the dream world, which is like this nightmarish hellscape.
Yeah, it's pretty icky.
And her little boy fight Freddy. The little boy goes into a furnace. Freddy comes after him. His arm grows out real long, which is another allusion to the original Nightmare on Elm Street where that happened, and tries to grab him. Nancy pushes him into the fire, just like the witch from Hansel and Gretel, and the kid finds a place to get out. He gets out. They crank the fire up, and Freddy burns up. Then they go into the real world, where there's a completed script from Wes Craven, signed by Wes Craven with an explanation of what just happened, saying, "Hey, Freddy's locked up now. Thanks for having the guts to play Nancy one last time, sister. And that's it. Then the movie's over.
See, it got so cheesy in the parts where they're fighting Freddy and stuff that I really thought it was like they were in the movie, like that they were actually playing this. This was his script, which it was his script. Because I mean, they were showing throughout the movie that some of the things they're saying were in the script.
Right.
So I mean, you could look at it that way, couldn't you?
Yeah. Well, she says to Wes Craven at one point, she's like, "Did you know about her husband dying? Because he wrote it. Because it was one of the dreams he had." And he's like, he gets this look on his face, like, yeah, he knew. And she was like, "Wes, oh my God." And he was like, "Well, I didn't know that it was real at the time. And then obviously it happened." She's like, "But you know now that it's more than just that." And he's like, "Yeah, I know. And I know something fucked up's going on," basically, is what he says. But so, yeah, like every scene of the movie he's writing, it gets real weird where it's like, I'm writing this movie, you've got a player. So, yeah, you're right. It could be like she's in the movie, but they never give that reveal.
Right.
So it's not. It's really happening.
I really was hopeful that at the end the husband would just show back up, the dad, and it would be like that didn't really happen because it was a movie.
Right. Like, oh, good job on those special effects.
But instead, it's her and her little boy rolling out of bed together, like reading. She's going to read this scary script to him.
Yeah, and I think the reason, because Carol was like, "Why would you do that?" And she, like earlier when she was reading the Hansel and Gretel story, she was like, "Why would you do that to this little kid?" Because he is a little kid. He played Gage in Pet Sematary.
Yeah, he's a creepy little kid.
But that was his first role ever, I believe. And not too long ago, but, anyway, so I think the point that they're trying to make is you need to share these stories. Even with kids, with everybody. Everybody needs to hear these stories and legends because these stories and legends being alive is what keeps the darkness at bay.
Interesting.
I think that's the point of the movie.
Okay. I guess I could see that.
But yeah, so I think that's why she does it. So let's hear. I want to hear what your problems are with this movie.
Well, it's just like I said, it's confusing. You can't tell what is really happening when. Mm-hmm. Like the morgue scene, of course, was it's surreal. It's like it's supposed to be reality. Yeah, they
let her down there with no one's going with her. She's just alone, loose in a morgue with a bunch of people, a bunch of doctors just doing autopsies and shit like all over the place.
They've got a bone saw going and somebody's chest cracked open.
And she comes in, she's like, "Hello," and they're like, "Oh yeah, we don't need to, the chain of evidence and sanitary who cares?"
Right? It was really weird.
It's Mardi Gras down in the morgue, and they're just like, "Oh," she just gives the name, and they don't ask for ID or anything. They don't even say, "Are you a relation?" She could have been a reporter, and they're just like, "Oh, okay, here, I'll show you this body." So anybody can come down here, say a name, and see a body. It's so weird. That's a weird thing that happens in the movie. The special effects are not
terrible,
not great. There are some that I think are good. They look pretty good. There's some practical effects that look pretty good, but you can tell it's a lower budget movie.
Yeah,
and the beginning is good. The beginning of the movie, the setup of everything, pretty much everything before Freddy actually shows up, is pretty good. As like a psychological kind of thriller thing. And then when Freddy shows up and that dream element and everything, it really starts to degrade, like you said.
It feels cartoonish. Like, I actually laughed at one point during the fight with Freddy.
You laughed a couple times in the theater.
Yeah. So, if a horror movie's making you laugh, they're doing something wrong.
But, like I said, I like the idea, and I think the problem is the Nightmare on Elm Street. The problem is that there's all this mythology. There's been all these there's been all these different movies. There's been all these sequels and everything. There's so much wrapped up into this mythology and everything. I think you could do this idea this idea of kind of taking a deeper look psychologically at horror movies, what they mean, parroting them in a way, stuff like that. If you didn't have that mythology weighing you down, and I'd love to see Wes Craven or anybody, but especially Wes Craven's a good director and a good writer, do that without the baggage of Freddy along with it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that might be something interesting to look into. I don't know if I'll ever do it, but that would be interesting.
Yeah. Another issue I had with the movie,
Mm-hmm.
when they're in the hospital, they are manhandling the mom.
They are, yes.
It's kind of crazy. Like, the doctor thinks that she's losing it, which she kind of is. She has security come, and they're forcing her to sit in a chair to talk to the doctor.
Right.
It's not
they won't let her leave.
It's not like the doctor put her on an official psych hold or she's trying to hurt anybody. But yeah, they just keep pushing her back down, and I don't think they could do that.
And at one point, two nurses come in to give him a sleeping drug. Now they don't know that the babysitter that's in there with him is going to say don't give him a sleeping pill. They suspect that maybe the mom is keeping him awake for whatever reason, but they don't know that the babysitter would be in on it. So one goes next to the boy, and the other one goes up to a thing of drugs and starts filling a vial. And she's like, "What's that?" And he's like, "Just something to help him sleep." And she says, "No, don't do that. His mom wants him to stay awake." And she's like, "No, we need to do this." And she's like, "Don't. I said no." And the nurse looks at the other nurse, and the other nurse pulls out a secret vial,
right?
And they're villains, and gives him the sleeping drug. And she looks the one nurse looks self-satisfied at the babysitter and says, "He'll be out in a couple minutes." And then she punches her in the face.
Yeah,
and grabs the vial from her and goes to the other one and says, "Yeah, I know what's in that. Do you know what's in this, or what's going to happen to you when I inject you with this? Because I'm going to." And she goes after her. There's nothing to establish the babysitter is this on board with what the Langenkamp wants,
Yeah.
So she has no reason to believe Freddy's real or any of this stuff.
Another thing, I don't think they're allowed to drug children without their parents' consent.
I'm pretty sure that is correct.
Yeah. So many things wrong with this movie.
But yeah. So that's a new nightmare. Wes Craven's new nightmare.
It was definitely a nightmare.
I still think there are things to take away from this. I think there are positives to take away from it.
Like what?
Well, like I said, the idea, the boldness of doing something new instead of just doing another boring retread of, hey, Freddy's coming after people.
Right. Okay.
I think there are things to take away that are positive from here. But yeah, there's a lot of negative too. There's a lot of this doesn't make a whole lot of sense in it. And it would have been better if it was a movie. If it would have been a movie all along, because then the stuff that doesn't make sense, you could be like, "Oh, well, it was a movie. Okay, so
yeah.
That explains it."
I think I might have actually said I liked it if it had turned out to be a movie.
Well, that is our episode for the week. Hopefully you'll like it. Because this turned out to be a movie the entire time.
Yeah.
All right. So we will end this episode as we end every episode with our blockbuster pick of the week. Carol, what do you got for this week?
Well, Disney just dropped a ton of movies.
They did.
There's The Parent Trap and Sword in the Stone, and I mean just a bunch, Robin Hood.
I think you said Snow White.
Snow White, yeah.
Like
Yep. So I'm excited. I like the Disney movies.
Yeah, they're fine. I would recommend The Paper.
What's The Paper?
The Paper is a movie with Michael. It's a Ron Howard movie.
Oh.
Ron Howard. You know Ron Howard.
Yeah.
He's a good director. But it's Michael Keaton and Glenn Close, Marissa Tomei, Randy Quaid. It's basically about one day in a newspaper editor's life, and there's some murders, and they discover that maybe the police are not maybe the police aren't the good guys in this scenario, and they're doing some bad stuff. So we've gotta help uncover this thing, and yeah.
Well, it definitely sounds like a good cast and an interesting story.
It's a good cast and an interesting story. I would say that's what I would say about it. I think anybody that's smart would say it's a good cast and an interesting story.
Thanks for the compliment, I guess.
Have you ever seen? What is it called? I'm trying to remember what it's called. There's a movie that's a good movie. It reminds me of this a little bit, but it's different. It's more of a straight comedy, but I can't think of it. The only thing I can think of is Broadcast News, and it's not Broadcast News. Although Broadcast News is a decent movie with Holly Hunter and William Hurt and Albert Brooks.
Okay.
That's a good movie, but that's not the one I'm thinking of. The one I'm thinking of has Burt Reynolds in it, and I don't know, it's funny. But if I think about it next week, I'll tell you about it.
Okay,
but
sounds good.
So that is our episode. Carol, take us home.
Once again, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
And go ahead and tell people about our show and leave us the stars and give us money.
Yeah, do all that. Especially the money.
No, especially the stars.
No, especially the telling people.
So all of it. Do it all.
Yeah, I think you should do it all.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.